2 minutes of my thoughts on what the world needs today. I think, frankly, new leadership is part of the answer. Look at the world around us. From a time when many celebrated the arrival of globalization, the benefits of instant communications, and the digital revolution, to the cultural aspects of cosmopolitanism and liberal thinking, we're now being confronted by an unavoidable backlash to these ideas and facing the real risk that the COVID-19 pandemic will inaugurate an era of deglobalization. The signs are mounting that the world may embrace isolationism and protectionism in a far more enthusiastic way than before the outbreak, including in India, where Atmanirbharta is being talked about. The indications are evident because the pandemic has confirmed for many that in times of crisis, people rely on their own governments to shield them. The global supply chains are vulnerable to disruption and are therefore unsustainable, and their dependence on foreign countries for essential goods could be fatal. COVID-19 has also convinced many that strict border and immigration controls are essential and that national interests should trump international cooperation. To many, the answer lies in strong government, in putting the nation's needs over individual citizens' freedoms, and in dispensing with democratic niceties, from federalism to parliamentary oversight, in what the government deems to be the national interest. I think you will agree with me that's not the way we should be going. And if we are to resist such trends, we need new leaders from the young, from the generation that looks with horror on our society becoming more insular, stratified and hostile, wants to rise to the occasion and bring us back together. I'm looking for young individuals who, though rooted in their immediate localities, are capable of displaying the necessary vision and aptitude to think beyond their immediate borders, their immediate realities, ideas that reach out, that revive and champion the notion that we as a human community, as Indians, are stronger when we are together. The new leaders that the world desperately needs will be individuals courageous enough to think beyond their immediate interests and the allure of a bottom line, and instead those who work actively to identify the complex challenges faced by our society and produce innovative ways to successfully address those challenges. At the same time, as I've already said, we must bring us together again, especially those who have been marginalized, discriminated, those who are financially vulnerable, those who are socially excluded. Young leaders of tomorrow must not just be managers, but problem solvers and change makers. We must move beyond narrow concerns of national security, interpreted as freedom from terror or attack, to a broader vision of human security, including freedom from hunger and hopelessness. We must move to a world where everyone has food, clothing, shelter, where democracy reigns, where people's creative and entrepreneurial energies are freed, where human rights are upheld and the environment is protected. Young leaders of tomorrow must join hands with the older leaders in parliament and civil society, in education and more, in order to create a better world for all of us. That's my 2 minutes worth. All the very best.
Good evening. We thank our title sponsor, Celebrite Media, for the wholehearted support. All forms of art bring ethereal happiness to the performers and to the audiences. We can say practicing any form of art is meditation in itself and takes you through a spiritual experience. We will all agree to this after the discussion. The spiritual experience of the arts. We welcome our guests in the studio, Dr. Vikas Kashalkar, Dr. Sangeeta Laura Biagi, and Dr. Manjari Prabhu, who will lead the discussion. An accomplished vocalist of the Gwalior Gharana, Dr. Vikas N. Kashalkar hails from a family with music tradition. His style is deeply rooted in traditions, but his imagination knows no boundaries. Hence, there is always a feeling of newness in his rendering. He has a large repertoire of uncommon and mixed ragas, and he presents many of them with great mastery and ease. A dedicated guru, he is also a prolific writer and orator on music, and his workshops and lecturer demonstration are highly educational and thought provoking. He has conceived many programs which were highly appreciated by the learned and the lay audience as well. A number of students are seeking his guidance for research in music. Yogacharini Dr. Sangeeta Laura Biagi is a yoga teacher, graduated in the tradition of Yoga Maharshi Dr. Swami Geetanand Giri Guru Maharaj in Tamil Nadu, India, with a 2-year residential advanced teacher's diploma. She is also a voice teacher and coach, devotional music singer, and author. Together with her yoga and Carnatic music teacher, Yogacharya Dr. Anand Balyogi Bhavnani, she wrote the book Saraswati's Pearls, Dialogues on the Yoga of Sound, an intercultural reflection on the power of song and music in yogic sadhana. Since 2020, she has lived in Tuscany, where she teaches Nada Yoga courses online in English with her teacher Yogacharya Dr. Ananda Balyogi Bhavnani, and in Italian, online and in person. She also offers individual sessions to clients internationally on health, life, and voice coaching. Dr. Manjari Prabhu is an award-winning international author of 18 books, mystery and thriller writer, a short filmmaker, and the curator and founder-director of 2 international festivals, Pune International Literary Festival and International Festival of Spiritual India for Humanity and Wisdom. She is also an animal welfare activist, promoting, caring, and adoption of stray dogs for more than 35 years. We request Dr. Prabhu to lead the discussion.
Thank you so much, Renu. Welcome, Dr. Kashalkar and Dr. Sangeeta. So, such a pleasure to have you both at IFSI. Well, Rakhee was actually supposed to take this discussion forward. I think Laura, she did have some kind of emailing with you, but unfortunately she can't make it. So I'm here, and we're going to have a general chat about spirituality and the arts. I'd like to start with Dr. Kashalkar and both of you actually, and to try to understand what does spirituality actually mean to both of you. Maybe Kashalkar, you can start.
Yes. Actually, music of India has the roots in the yoga, and long back, we believe that it is created by Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva created music, Tandav Nritya or dance, and Lasya by Parvati, and then it was followed by Tumbaru and Narad, and this is how this music came to the earth. The gods, they created music of India. This is believed. That is a different thing. But all these sages, those who learned music afterwards, they experienced the spirituality while singing, and they have clearly defined the purpose of music. At present, we just think of music in terms of entertainment many times, sometimes only devotional, but it is a yoga. And so it is revered by the society at the time. Even Aryans, they believe that this art is a spiritual art. So there are some Sanskrit couplets. Tasya Geetasya Mahatmya. Geetasya means music. Tasya Geetasya Mahatmya ke prasanshit tumishati dharmartha kama mokshanam idame vaika sadhanam. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, these are the 4 stages of our life. And ultimate aim of learning music or practicing music is to attain the salvation. This is what is written. Or Shrutijati Visharadaha Taladnyascha Prayasena Moksha Margam Nigachati. Those who practice music, they easily get the moksha or salvation state. Uh, this is what is written by Yajnavalkya in his Yajnavalkya Smriti. What I want to tell is music of India is not that simple just for entertainment, but it is for the attainment or salvation, which was described some 2000 or 4000 years before. And the same thing continues even though we uh, practice music and use it for the entertainment of the society and the people, but ultimate aim of the singer or the musician is the salvation. And at the end of his life, he definitely comes to that stage that he doesn't need anything except that Brahma Sahodara, Brahmananda Sahodara is the condition what he gets uh, through music. This is what I would like to.
It's very profound and very, very, very interesting. We will come to that about salvation through music. But before that, Dr. Sangeeta, tell me what spirituality. I know you've been practicing with Dr. Ananda Bhagyogi Bhavanani for many years, and you know you kind of have workshops together. You've written a book together. What is spirituality to you?
Namaskaram, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. I would like to thank you, Manjari Prabhu, and such an honor, Dr. Vikas Kashalkar, to be in the same room with you. My heartfelt gratitude to my Acharya, Dr. Nanda Balayogi Bhavanani, for his invitation as well and his guidance always. So the etymology of the word spirituality comes from Latin, spirit. And that is the same root of spirit, breath. And because in Latin, spirito both means spirit and breath. And of course, as we have just learned just a few minutes ago, music is yoga. Yoga is music because the spirituality of music is about inspiration. It's about the flow of breath. What's more important is not just breath. It is the pneuma of the Latin, which is the prana of yoga. And so when we are in music, when we are one with music, for me, spirituality is the capacity to connect with prana, understand it, manage it, infuse it with rasa, with emotion, but particularly then having this wonderful, wholesome experience of the physical, physiological body that through the inspiration and expiration of the breath becomes vivified, electrified, and in an optimal state of health, because we all know the importance of breathing in our health, emotional, mental, physical. And then also, it is a way for us to focus the mind on sound, to focus the mind on spirit, meaning on the spiritual essence of the breath itself. Now, as a singer, particularly, inhaling, exhaling, and allowing the voice to express songs of beatitude and prayer is such a gift. And Vak, the great goddess, Vedic goddess Vak, from whom we take the word voice and singing and all, is such a bestower of blessings. So spirituality for me is definitely this capacity to remember that we are blessed with lungs and a vocal apparatus that allows us to receive this life energy of prana, the pneuma, the word of gods and goddesses, of devas, and to be able to then use the voice to share the blessings rather than using the voice to gossip, to curse, to speak ill. which is a big problem that we can go into later, perhaps. But anyways, so yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. But now when I'm listening to you talk about how music is salvation, music is yoga, why is it that only some people are actually born with this gift? I mean, this is something that's just come to me now. If spirituality is our ultimate goal, and salvation is our ultimate goal, why is music, why are just some people blessed with music? Why is it that why does every person not have that little gene in them? And why do we not have that path of spirituality for each one of us? Maybe Dr. Kashalkar, you can start. I can start with you.
Yes. Actually speaking, as I told, Nada Yoga. So first, if we find out the definition of Nada, then I will explain what is exactly Nada. In 13th century, one book was written by the musicologist Sharangdev. In his book Sangeeta Ratnakar, he has written Nakaram Prananamanam. Nakaram Prananamanam Dakaram Analam Viduhu Jata Pranagni Sanyogat Etena Nado Vidhiyate. So the thing which happens in our body, Nad is such a thing which cleans your body and mind and your soul also. It gives some support to your soul. So Nad is a sound which comes from your body. So Nakaram is a prana and Dakaram is Anala, means fire. Fire and prana, when they come together and they mix up with each other, some sort of energy is created. And that energy passes right from your bottom part to up to your sound from your head and brain and all this thing, and it spreads all over the body, and the nada comes out. So nada yoga is 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 a thing which is with the practice that you can achieve, and not just by singing. Singing is a part of nada, but nada yoga is a totally different thing. So that is nada.
Right. So it needs a certain kind of practice, certain education, certain effort to really enjoy the spirituality of music in the in the ancient yogic manner. Should we say that? That's how I think you're trying to say. So just singing is not going to give us the spiritual experience. You need to have to work for it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. What about you, Dr. Sangeeta? Would you be able to add somewhat to that?
Yes. So there are many forms of yoga. There are many ways in which human beings can experience their purpose in life, their dharma, and they can share of their talents. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Raj yoga, and each one of us has the capacity to experience not as the vibration, like what unites them with all that is. Because as we know from astrophysics and physics, we are in this amazing realm, a field, a quantum field of vibration. And that is the ultimate gem of Nad Yoga, as I understand it within my limitations as of now. It's to be able to hear and feel and experience internally this great cosmic vibration. At the same time, there is a form of bhakti yoga in which music is definitely a highlight. So while there are some of us who have a gift of singing, of music playing, we have the passion, a calling for it, everybody can hear, everybody can listen. So everyone can enjoy Nad or the aspect of music that is one of the aspects of Nad Yoga. Everyone can be a musician in the sense of being able to listen. And then some of us can also produce, but that's not all. The quality of listening is the most important quality in a musician, not just making music. But also, as just one more note, is that in my experience with the Carnatic singing, my Acharya, Dr. Nanda, always teaches us about Saint Tyagaraja and his fantastic composition, Sobillu Saptaswara, in which, yes, there is this transformation of sound that comes from the Nabi, travels through the Hridaya, through the heart, and then through the Kanta, through the throat, and then through the tongue of Rasa, and then comes out. And I think sometimes if we are able to remember that our speech is also sacred, that not just singing is important, but that our language is a song. Just because we see it written now and we texting and all, right, we've forgotten how sacred it is. But if we can just remember that the way we speak can be melodious and infused with rasa, then we would solve a lot of problems today, because a lot of our issues come from saying words that we later regret we said. So we are all singers in that way, you see. So that's...
I completely agree with you. I think if I knew how to say things sweetly, I would avoid a lot of problems in my life. I completely agree with you. But it's something that just has to come naturally, I guess, and maybe with certain training. I mean, even now when I'm speaking, I can completely analyze the way you are speaking and Dr. Kashalkar is speaking and I am speaking. So I can make this out, you see. I'd like to ask you something more personal now. I mean, Dr. Kashalkar, I think I've been associated with you for 30 years or even more. And I even remember that I asked you once for one of my novels. I think I used this Kadak Bijli Ki Taan to actually use it as a weapon of murder, if I remember right. And you gave me, that research bit, and I used it in my book. And I know that music has different roles in our life. I use it to create a story out of it. But personally, I would want you to tell me, both of you, in fact, that I know that music, singing, composing, all that is very spiritual. You can go into a trance. Is there any special episode or incident in your life where you actually took off on a spiritual realm? Is there any such thing with your music, of course, or with your art, or even if you're writing a book, whatever? Has anything special ever happened in your life? Maybe Dr. Kashalkar, you can start.
Yes. There are so many stories which I have read from the book. Perhaps everybody knows the name of Tansen. Yes. Tansen was a very good vocalist or singer of Drupad singer. And he was a court singer in Akbar's regime, in his court. What happened? Akbar asked him once that who is better than you in singing? And he said, obviously my guru. He said, I would like to listen to his rendering. Tansen said it is very difficult because he doesn't sing before the common people or before the king and all this. He sings for the God. And his singing is spiritual. He said, no, we will do something. And they go to his place. And Swami Haridas starts singing. And it was so melodious and spiritual and all this thing. They're taken away by that singing. And then Akbar asked, why this happened? Tansen said, I sing for you, I mean for the king, and he sings for the Lord Krishna. So that's why his singing is spiritual. So purpose of singing is equally important. And the worldly singing and the yogic singing has a difference between these two types of. And Akbar said, I would like to give you something. He said, I don't want anything. Because that stage comes when you sing this, when you attain that type of mastery in that spiritual way of singing, you don't need anything because you're away from all the worldly matters. But then he insisted. He said, yes, there is a pond and some diamonds are fixed up to that pond and some portion is left over. So can you do that and give me, because I bring water for my Lord Krishna. And Akbar went and saw everywhere the pond was full of all diamonds. This is the story, I mean, full of
Yeah.
diamond, covered with the diamond. And he was surprised. Who has done this and how is it? And nobody reported me that this type of diamonds are there. Illusion. Once when you listen to this type of music, it is possible to create that type of illusion and you go into a different world. I have seen so many people, those who go in the state of illusion, and then entire audience is taken away with
Right.
that illusion and they forget themselves.
Yes.
This is what happened with Akbar. And there are so many, like one Ustad Abdul Karim Khan, I know. Abdul Karim Khan was a singer of Kirana Gharana. He went and met Sai Baba in Shirdi, and he sang one Marathi song. And Sai Baba was so much taken away with the emotions he has created through that one. Even Tajuddin Baba. Then he said that you are a yogic singer and not the normal singer. And this happened at the end of his life when he was coming back from Karnataka to Maharashtra. At one station, he got down because he realized that he is going to end his life. So he got down, he did his namaz, and then started singing rag Darbari Kannada, and he left this world and went to eternity. This is the power of music, where when we listen to this type of music, we are astonished by their yogic practice through music. This is how it happens. The process I will explain afterwards.
Amazing. What about you, Dr. Sangeeta?
Thank you so much. These are such wonderful questions and such wonderful answers. I'm really excited to hear. Yes, there's so many. In my experience with both yoga and Carnatic music with Dr. Nanda Balayogi Bhavanani, I've had two of such experiences. One of them was during the all-night Om chanting, the Pranava Om chanting, which Dr. Nand and his guru and mother, Meenakshi Devi Bhavanani, our Amaji, and the Bhavanani family have been organizing for the celebration, the Jayanti of Dr. Swami Gitananda's guru, Kanakananda Brigu ji, for the Jayanti of the birthday. They organize an all-night Om chanting where people like me, students of yoga and music, who come to the ashram from India, but also from all around the world, are invited to gather and chant the Pranava Om through the night. And I remember that was a very striking moment in my sadhana practice, as well as a musician myself, where after several hours of taking turns in intoning and evoking the Om without stopping the sound ever, I forgot myself. That's what Dr. Kashalkar just mentioned, forgetting the self. In forgetting myself, I was able to have a glimpse of an experience of unity that truly escaped, right? My mental formation was a lived experience, because everything was Om. The sound of the waves of the ocean were Om. The water from the faucet was Om. The crows chant was Om. Everything was Om. And it was just, it lasted only perhaps a few minutes, but it was really remarkable in my sadhana, and has inspired me not to give up at times when the chitta vritti of the mind becomes louder than the sound of Om. So that was one. The other one was in the realm of Carnatic singing and Bharatanatyam dance, when again Dr. Anand invited me to, together with his Dharma Patni, Yogacharini, Devasena Bhavanani. They both invited me to be on stage with them and to sing to this amazing group of young Bharatanatyam dancers of the school Yoganjali Natyalayam, to sing as they were dancing. And, you know, I wasn't brought up in this culture. And so for me, it was such an honor, but also it was such a transformative experience. Where the unity of the Carnatic music and the Bharatanatyam dance was so intense at the vibratory level that not only I forgot myself, but as I turned to look into Dr. Nanda's eyes as he was singing a moment of solo, singing, I saw the whole universe in his eyes. And I wasn't fantasizing. I actually just saw the light, a little bit like this background galaxy that you so beautifully have chosen, dear Manjari Prabhu, right? This galaxy. I just saw that, and I can't explain it with words, but it was truly, again, a moment in which I lost my small self, and I was able to connect through these amazing arts of Sanatana Dharma that I've been so blessed to receive in instruction and in practice. I was able to feel this sensation of oneness that is yoga, and what a blessing, what a gift.
Absolutely, it's a real blessing to be able to live it, to experience it, is a true blessing. But since we're talking about the arts, and I'm a writer, I'm not a musician in that sense, but I know what you mean, because there's so often that when I'm writing my novels, and I'm writing a scene or a couple of scenes, and I clearly remember this one particular time when it was sweltering hot outside, but I was writing a scene, a kind of intense scene about two characters in the middle of the rain, and it is pouring and lightning and all. And I wrote the scene, and I was so lost in it that when I finished writing it, and I came out, and I was startled to realize that it was really hot outside and there was not a drop of rain. So the kind of connect you probably had through, to a certain extent, I have it through my writing, and I know what it means to immerse yourself in your art. So I can perfectly understand that. Since we're talking about, these experiences, do you think, I mean, as a person, I mean, spirituality is one thing which, through yoga and all your learning, your music is one thing, it's evolving along with you. Do you think that one without the other would suffer? For example, if you have music, but without the spiritual connect, or you had spirituality without the musical connect, do you think that either one would suffer? Maybe Dr. Kashalkar, you can tell me your own experience about this.
Actually, I want to explain the process of Nada Yoga, so that that will help us to proceed further.
Sure, please tell us.
Yes. Yoga, the definition by Patanjali is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This is a simple definition he has given in Patanjali Sutra. What it says, that Chitta and Vritti, these are two different things. Chitta means in your mind, first something comes to your mind, and then you act. Vritti, then you start. So, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. First thing, you have to stop those things which are going on in your mind, and then your action. So Nada Yoga is also doing the same thing. The first thing, when you start singing or when you think of music, you have to stop other things and to come into the realm of that sound and music. That is first thing which you have to do. Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And then you have to start creating the sound. So how this sound is created, that is mentioned in the 13th century. Atma is one another concept. Atma gives instruction to your mind and body. Atma vivakshamanoyam mana prerate manaha. So your mind is given the, mind is told by Atma that you had to do something. Dehastham vanim mahatis saprerete marutam. It starts coming out. Where from it comes, it is completely clearly defined, and that is very important. Then it becomes yoga. Brahma Granthi Sthitaha Soth Kramat Urdhopate Salan. Just now she said that how that sound comes out from your body. Brahma Granthi Sthita Soth Kramat Urdhvapate Chalan Nabhi Rud Kantha Murdhastem Esham Avir Bhavaite Dvanim. Means there is one knot like thing at the bottom of your body, and from there, from that is called as Brahma Granthi. From there, that sound starts coming. It is a very feeble form, and then it comes in a normal sound, and then it comes out. So where is that Brahma Granthi, and what is the purpose of, or what is the use of Nada Yoga of that Brahma Granthi? So Brahma Granthi is at the bottom of three channels. Those three channels everybody knows, like Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. So Ida, Pingala, they do their own job. Like from left side, it comes into your body and moves and then comes out from the another part. So Ida and Pingala are doing their job, and Sushumna comes into picture. And Sushumna is very important because it creates some spiritual experience in your mind and in your body. So Sushumna Nadi is very important, and there at the bottom there is a sacrum, a triangle-like thing. There is a Kundalini, and from that Kundalini, the spiritual evolvement starts. I mean, the person, normal person, and the sages or the rishis, they differ because they have that another ability to evoke that Kundalini, and they are attached to that supreme through that this thing. It is in a dormant stage, and Brahma Granthi is just near that Kundalini. So if it is properly evolved, and when it comes out with that particular sound quality, it gives the effect, and it has the effect on the listeners and on the body itself. Because when it is coming upward, it is touching the 6 energy cycles which are in our body, Shat Chakra, what we say. Those are activated, and your body becomes a different body. So those rishis, what they used to do is practicing this and bringing out that particular sound, which directly connects them to the super natural power, by which he is able to go into that particular atmosphere. Everything is going on here. Some choral is going on, some are laughing, some are doing all these things. But the sages, those who have practiced Nada Yoga, they are totally different from that one, and they are connected to that one. Like something, some program is going on somewhere, or we are doing, and people from all over the world, they are listening. They are connected because of this particular internet. The same connection is there created by that Kundalini with the Supreme or God, and that's how they are the sages. They are called as sages. So this is yoga, and this is done like Hatha Yoga. Perhaps you know the name Hatha Yoga. In Hatha Yoga, what exactly happens? Trataka, Dhauti, Neti, these are the things happen. What is Trataka? Concentration of one on one point. The same thing happens in music. One note is there, like ma, I'm concentrating. First, it is hazy, but slowly it becomes steady. So that Trataka Kriya is already done when you start practicing. Then Dhauti, you are cleansing your body, you are cleansing with the notes and coming down to particular raga or particular shruti. So you are cleansing that one. And your body, you have to clean it, which happens in Hatha Yoga. The same thing happens in Nada Yoga. So Neti means in nasal part. Why I'm telling you this? Because I have some data of these musicians these days. There's how many people from the field of music, they suffered with COVID. Very less number of students, people, they suffered because they were practicing Nada Yoga, and it was already cleaning their body and making them happy. They were not worried about the outside world, what is happening. They did not put that and go out and move and in the society. They were practicing and they were happy. Brahmananda Sarovar state they enjoyed. So this is what is called as Nada Yoga, which is very important, which is a spiritual thing, which happens with a great musician, not like, I mean, we are on that path only, but not completely achieved. It takes a lot of time and years together to get that one sur, which is very, very touchy. This is what I wanted to explain. Yes.
Yeah, you're being very modest, Dr. Kashalkar, but even when you were speaking, I had goosebumps listening to you talk. And I think the gist of what you said just now, from whatever I can understand, is that a good musician cannot separate his spiritual being from his artistic being. Because the music, like you said, activates the chakras, and the kundalini and the supreme being all get connected if you get the perfect swar. I think that's the common man's understanding of what you said.
Yes,
Yes. So it's amazing. It sounds great. And I'm going to ask you to say something because I heard the harmonium just now. So you will sing a little something for me. But let me first ask Dr. Sangeeta, can you separate out your two personalities, or would one or the other suffer?
Yes, thank you. It's not really possible to separate the two. In the same way that a person is always a combination of so many, aspects of their personality. The goal is to unify them. The goal is to unify all of these aspects, to mitigate the ones that are more challenging and to highlight the ones that are more loving. So in that sense, no, it's not possible to separate. When we separate, we create a lack of ease, a lack of the sukhasthanam that is the goal of any artistic spiritual practice. One thing that I noticed, however, is that for me, I grew up here in Italy, and from the beginning, I knew internally that music, especially my use of the voice, could benefit myself in health and could benefit others. I just knew as a child growing up, which is particular. I think it's a special awareness to have as a young human being. In time, I also, though, realized that sometimes the music that we may not find spiritual could have some benefits in our health, for our health. However, overall, music that is created by a human being who is on a spiritual practice that is solid, that is authentic, that is healthy, that benefits other people, will create a style of music, a type of music that is definitely more beneficial to others. So yes, they would suffer. For me, they would suffer. It's incomprehensible, actually, for me to separate the two. So just a short answer for that, because we've heard quite a beautiful explanation on that. So I think we're complete with that answer. Yes.
That is great. Yeah, I think I completely agree. As a writer, that it's really difficult to separate your creative personality once it's connected with the universe, no matter through which creative art you follow. On that note, I'm going to request both of you, one after the other, to sing a few lines, whatever you can, just to create this atmosphere. Since we're talking about spirituality in the arts, especially singing, maybe Dr. Kashalkar, you can start, sing a few lines of something, and then Dr. Sangeeta, because I think we're running out of time now. We've got just the last 10 minutes, and I want to hear both of you singing after all those beautiful explanations. I'm sure the audience would love to hear you. So, Dr. Kashalkar.
Actually speaking, to evoke the notes, it takes a lot of time. In few seconds, it is not possible, but I will try.
Okay.
पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, वस्तु अमोलिक दी मेरे सतगुरु, वस्तु अमोलिक दी मेरे सतगुरु, कृपा कर अपनायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, जन्म जन्म की पूंजी पाई, जन्म जन्म की पूंजी पाई, जग में सभी खोवायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, सत की नाव सत की नाव खेवटिया सतगुरु, भवसागर तर पायो, पायो जी मैंने राम रतन धन पायो, मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर, हर कर जस गायो, मैंने राम रतन धन पायो. Like this. I mean, this is Mirabai's song, a very famous song I sang.
Beautiful.
And she was really connected to this thing. The end of her life. Meera, she was singing, and people came to catch hold of her and put her behind the bar or something. And she went to the temple and she sang, and she vanished there itself. And she merged into the idol of Lord Krishna. This is what we hear the story about her music, because that is the eternal truth so that's why I sang this song, Payo Ji Maine.
Beautiful. Very nice. Dr. Sangeeta, something from you, please.
So beautiful, sir. Thank you so much. Just the expression on your face is just, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I would like to together just the first two lines of a bhajan for Lord Ganesha, and a chant from the tradition of Christianity for Hail Mary, for the Shakti of protection. Both of the chants are an invocation and an evocation of protection for us all. First of all, from our own internal enemies of the spirit, but then, of course, also for to bring some ease, yes, in this particular moment or experience as human beings. And what I like is that they're so different. They come from such different traditions. They're different raga and, in fact, chords and all.
Yes.
But there's something there, right? There's something there. And this is the quality that music also has. When we have an open heart and open ears, we can communicate so well among cultures and people, generations, and all sorts of choices of identity. And this is really important to remember. So thank you for this opportunity very much, really. Ganesha Sharanam Sharanam Ganesha 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 Maria Mater Gratiae Mater misericordiae tu nos poste protege et mortis ora suscipe Iesus tibi sit gloria qui natus est de virginem cum Patre et Almo Spiritu in sempiterna saecula. Amen. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Very good. Very good. Very
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Wonderful. I'm feeling at peace.
Good.
I'm all, I was always hassled, internet and this and that, but this session, which came suddenly onto me, has completely pacified me. I'm feeling great. All set to handle to one more day of IFSI. Thank you so much, both of you. It was amazing. Such beautiful insights. I'm already feeling very overwhelmed with all this knowledge, and I even feel like practicing music. Literally.
nice.
But thank you so much. Dr. Kashalkar, I'll come to you. Maybe I'll really start singing. Yes, thank you so much, both of you. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your vibrant, peaceful thoughts and soothing voices. All of us had a great experience. Thank you, Dr. Vikas Kashalkar, Dr. Sangeeta Laura Biagi, and Dr. Manjari Prabhu for being IFSI guests. We will begin our next discussion, Energies and Vibrations and the Art of Raising Them, after a break of 15 minutes at 5:30 p.m. Thank you all.